The July 8th meeting of the East Penn School District Board of School Directors. We now all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, our first item of business tonight is a request to comment at the board meeting. Prior to calling the names, I'd like to read the following statement. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with public comment, speakers should feel free to express their opinion, comment, or question, and understand that this is not an interactive engagement with the board or with the administration. Please direct your correspondence to the chair. Be respectful, not engage in profane rhetoric, not disclose confidential personal information regarding staff or students, or comment on matters in violation of the law or board policy. And be mindful that others, including students, may be listening. I would request that you consider that protocol when making your comments. For the members of the audience, please also be respectful and refrain from speaking during the public comment period. With that, I will now announce each speaker and their topic. When you step up to the podium, again state your name, and you will have 3 minutes within which to speak. I will provide a 30-second warning for when your time is up. Okay, our first public commenter is Lori Miller to talk about EPA contract negotiations.
Good evening, members of the board and administration. My name is Lori Miller, and I'm the proud president of the East Penn Education Association. I'm entering my 25th year in education, and 22 of those years have been here at East Penn. Our East Penn Education Association contract, which dictates wages and working conditions of 587 staff members, expired on June 30th. More than a third of our EPEA members live here in the East Penn School District. We are working towards a contract that acknowledges the commitment of all professional staff so we can continue to give the East Penn School District our best, because that's what this community deserves. The East Penn Education Association was ready and willing to negotiate with this board starting in September of 2023. Since then, EPA's negotiation team met regularly during the week and weekends throughout the school year on our personal time to prepare proposals. As educators, we are not strangers to putting in extra time. When there's a job to be done, we roll up our sleeves and we get to work, no matter how long that takes. We have come prepared and presented our points in a respectful and professional manner at each bargaining meeting with the board. We've had a total of 10 meetings so far, 9 with the entire negotiations committee. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same for this board's team. Who did not even agree to meet with EPA until late January. Perhaps if we had gotten an earlier start, we wouldn't be operating without a contract right now that is fair and demonstrates our value in this district. East Penn teachers were the first in the state in 2011 to volunteer to take a pay freeze in the economic crash. We took a second pay freeze during COVID when the district's budget was in trouble. Without hesitation, we put the district's and our students' needs first over our needs and our families' financial needs. When the government supplied COVID relief, the association asked for a portion of our STEP movement that we lost, not just for 1 year, but throughout the rest of our lifetime. And the board denied that request. East Penn members go above and beyond to invest in the students in this community. We want to attract and retain the best teachers so that we can continue to provide students with an education that makes us all at East Penn proud. We are looking for a fair contract, one that allows staff and coaches to plan for the future and reflects our value as respected professionals in the East Penn community. We hope the board does the right thing and works to settle this agreement before the start of this school year. EPEA is optimistic that we can make this happen because we know that our teachers and our schools are exceptional. We are organizing and fighting to make sure that remains that way.
Your time is up.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next commenter tonight is Chris Ritter regarding negotiations.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Ritter, and I just finished my 22nd year of teaching in the East Penn School District. I'm also the chief negotiator for the East Penn Education Association. I'd prefer not to be addressing the board tonight regarding contract negotiations. However, the district informed EPEA that they intend to present their proposal to the full board and public at this board meeting tonight for the purpose of addressing inaccuracies throughout the community. Because the district's proposal is not attached as an agenda item this evening, I'm not quite sure how much information is going to be shared, so I'll keep my statements vague to respect the confidentiality of the process until such time an agreement is reached. Because the public comment period also does not offer a chance for rebuttal after the board provides their update, there's a few things on which I'd like to preemptively address to make sure the board and public are aware. I'll start by saying the most recent contract proposal offered by the district was not agreed to by the East Penn Education Association negotiating team. Despite this, and only because the district requested it, it was brought to our full membership to a vote. The district's proposal was rejected, 367 to 11, a 3% approval rating. There's several reasons why this proposal was rejected so overwhelmingly, but because of time constraints and public comment period, I'm only going to mention two. It doesn't address improvements needed in working conditions, and it doesn't provide commensurate compensation. It's ironic that both of these issues are in regard to equity, a district initiative. The district's website says that equity in education strives to ensure all students have access to resources, programs, and experiences that they need to feel safe and supported. Shouldn't teachers have equity as well in the planning of the student day? We don't. And what about equity and compensation? The district is offering a salary package in which the percent increase is less than what was just approved at the last school board meeting on June 24th for administrators. Oh, and we're being asked to work a longer work day, which equates to a longer work year too. This is not how you thank and reward a labor union for taking a pay freeze that helped the district and its students. And for anybody that might be unaware, pay freeze is not a one-year freeze. It follows you for the rest of your career. Some teachers have sacrificed over $100,000 in lifetime earnings and retirement to the benefit of the district and the students in their time of need. With all that said, EPEA is approaching negotiations in good faith. We've never been to the point where we say, give us what we want, or we're just going to take our ball and go home. EPEA's proposal to the district regarding salary keeps us competitive with most districts in the area and already fits within the district's approved budget for next year. EPEA has been willing to make concessions in other areas of our collective bargaining agreement to see our requested necessary changes come to fruition. So let's get back to the bargaining table and work on a deal that won't be rejected by 97% of our teachers. We need an agreement that's fair and equitable. A fair contract makes us East Penn proud. Thank you.
The next public commenter is Lisa Merck. Talk about teachers. Lisa Merck.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Merck, and I do not presently have children in the district, but 4 of my children are East Penn graduates, 3 of whom graduated last year. I am also a former East Penn employee. I am here tonight to show my support for all of our East Penn teachers. Teaching is a wonderful profession, but it isn't always about just teaching. Of course, you must teach to the state or what the district dictates, but a bigger part of teaching is connecting and getting to know your students. Teachers invest in each and every child in their classroom, and they often ask themselves why student A is crying, or why if student B ate today, or if what they're covering in class today is going to be a trigger for student C, and will that in turn frighten student D and E? These are questions that they ask themselves every single day. There is so much involved with teaching, and our teachers meet the students' needs socially, emotionally, physically, and mentally. And I personally know these teachers of East Penn do this every day. I'd like to share an experience that I had with a teacher giving a little extra that she certainly didn't have to. Having 3 kids in the same grade at the same time created some challenges for me. When my triplets were in 1st grade, my husband was a contractor and lived in Buffalo. During the week, when it was Meet the Teacher night, there were only 2 sessions offered. That created a problem for me, but one of the teachers offered to stay after and meet with me after the second session ended. It was 8 in the evening after a full day of teaching. And of course, she had to teach the next day. And she's here tonight, and I'd like to thank her. Thank you, Mrs. Sauerwein. She didn't have to do that, but she did that, and that's just one small example of many of the personal things that I've experienced here at East Penn. At a time when teachers are leaving the profession in droves, and we know there's a demand all over the country, I would think that you would want to make East Penn School District as desirable and appealing as you possibly could, not only to retain the teachers that you have, but to entice up-and-coming teachers. Even to have the graduates of East Penn want to come back because it's such a desirable place to teach. We already know that teachers are giving their all every day in the classroom. It's time for you to show them that they are respected, wanted, and needed. Show them that you care about them and their mental, physical, and financial health. It is time for our board to take accountability and negotiate reasonably with our teachers. Show our teachers that you care about them. Show them that they are important and worthwhile before it's too late. Teachers are the backbone of any district, and you want that backbone to be as strong as it is, and you want to show your appreciation.
Your time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next request to comment is from Gary Hoosier on teachers' support.
Good evening. My name's Gary Hoosier. I currently have a daughter headed to 2nd grade in the district. I have a son that graduated in 2023, and I myself am a graduate of this district. So I am here in support of our teachers today. Needless to say, my 35 years in and around this district, many things have changed. The one thing that's a constant is the exceptional educators that we have in this district. There's probably not anybody in this room that can say they can't remember that one teacher, that coach, that counselor that helped them beyond the classroom. So it is very important for us to show them the support. They are so vital to our children as they grow up, not only to our community, but obviously the future leaders. They do so much when there's things to volunteer for. Teachers are the ones usually volunteering for after-school activities with their kids' school, not even their own, but also their own as well. So when I say I'm here to support them, what I'm really asking for is a fair contract to entice good teachers, professionals to come to this district, to stay here and want to raise their children here as well. Teachers, besides healthcare professionals and maybe first responders, teachers are the most important for the success of our community, the future leaders of our country, really. We expect a lot of them, 6.5 hours a day teaching 25, 30 kids, right? After school activities, continuing education, master's degrees, doctorates. There is so much that we put on their plate and ask them to do day in and day out. The best education systems in the world pay their teachers like doctors and lawyers. They're not asking for that. Our teachers are asking for fair compensation based on the local districts around here. If you want to be a premier school district, you have to be able to attract and retain premier talent in any business. Thank you.
And our final commenter tonight is Nancy Solomon to speak on contract concerns.
Good evening. My name is Nancy Solomon. I reside at 6654 Trafalgar Drive in Macungie. I am a parent to 3 children who are or have attended our district. I have Amanda, who graduated in 21, Carter, who will graduate in 25, and his twin brother, Craig, who should be graduating this coming year as well. But unfortunately, lost his life to mental health in December of 43 months ago tonight. He was 13 and an 8th grade student at Higher at the time. I am standing before you this evening as I have been duped by this board. You claimed while you were running for this elected position to be there for our students. And I think you might have misunderstood exactly what message you sent out. You see, to actually be there for our students, you must be there for our teachers, our front line, the actual face of EPSD, the individuals who tirelessly interface with our students. These are the people that we as parents turn to for suggestions, guidance, and help. They are the ones who had to face hundreds of students on the morning of December 9th, 2020, the morning after we lost our son, to tell their classes one of their own has passed on. Those teachers had to delay their own grief and shock and continue about the academic day and be professional for the sake of their classes, consoling others, yet continuing to discuss math, science, social studies. In the midst of a pandemic, mind you. You see, that's how our teachers roll. Repeatedly, our teachers get hit, they get knocked down, yet they need to get back up again and do more, take on more, be more. Those individuals have taken 2 salary freezes. Benefits continue to be reduced, and now they're
30
making
seconds.
less than comparable districts like Parkland, and our board won't even negotiate a fair and reasonable contract, and we're losing teachers to other districts. Why? Personally speaking, our teachers have become our family. They reached out to us and attended my son's celebration of life during holidays and breaks to check on our welfare. When curriculum content is mental health or grief related, they instinctively know to reach out to give me the heads up on my living son. They go the extra mile to make sure we're okay. They don't need to do this. Goodness knows it's not easy. PA certifications have dropped over 66%.
Thank you, your time is up. Okay, our next item on the agenda is an update on professional staff negotiations. This is being provided as informational to the board and to the community. To that end, I have the following statement prepared. The East Penn School Board and the East Penn Education Association are currently engaged in the important work of good faith negotiations for a new, fair, competitive, and equitable contract for our professional staff members, which includes nearly 600 valuable employees. These discussions represent our shared commitment to finding mutually beneficial solutions that serve all parties. Keeping fiscal responsibility at the forefront of our decision-making process remains a district priority throughout these negotiations, as we have a responsibility to manage the long-term financial landscape of the district to ensure that we meet our many goals and stakeholder priorities. While the process has been lengthy, we remain focused on the goal of ensuring high-quality education for all students as we work towards an agreement. We have remained committed throughout this process to maintaining open lines of communication with the association. It is important to note the district's ongoing respect and valuation of the association's members. We have consistently demonstrated our unwavering support for our educators through fair, competitive, and equitable contracts, along with the frequent and purposeful addition of educational resources and personnel, many of which were the result of communicated needs and requests. A recent example of this commitment can be found in the recently approved budget priorities for the 24-25 school year, which included more teachers, support staff, etc., to serve areas of critical need. With that, it is the obligation of the district's negotiating team to keep the board and the EPSD community informed with facts about the contract negotiations, as there is a direct impact on the education of our students, the EPSD budget, and our property taxes. This report is a response to an engaged community that cares about the school district and is also designed to address inaccuracies circulating in our community that unfairly misrepresent the district's position in these talks. The components of our fair, competitive, and equitable offer evolved from discussions that began in January 2024 and continued through bargaining in May. With minor adjustments, they collectively became a table proposal that was provided to the association in late June for consideration by their membership. It should be noted that the current contract underwent a thorough review and revision, as it had not undergone a comprehensive update from the last several prior contracts. The district proposal was put forth to the association for a membership vote last week. The school board has learned that the association membership rejected the proposal, which incorporated several compromises and tentative agreements already in place between both negotiating teams. For public awareness, the key components of our fair, competitive, and equitable offer include: the term is a 4-year agreement. In terms of wages, salary increases are included that are historically high for EPSD, competitive for our region, and exceed the increases seen in other recently closed contracts in nearby districts. There is also a boost to starting salary steps to help attract new teachers. The salary schedules included in the proposal were developed by the association with some minor changes to create a mutually agreeable compromise built from their model. The percent increases to the annual salary pool were 4.25% in year 1, 3.75% in year 2, 3.75% in year 3, and 3.5% in year 4. The average increase is 3.81% per year. This first-year increase of 4.25% is on par with this year's 4.12 tax increase, ensuring it is not irresponsibly greater than what we asked our community to bear. Addressing the wage freeze from 2021 school year. In addition to the wage increases and to help restore some of the wages missed by the pay freeze, a one-time $1,000 bonus is included in year 1. It is important to note that the district is not in a financial position to restore the mutually agreed upon 2021 pay freeze. Schedules A and B, which are a delineation of stipends for co-curricular positions and athletic coaches. We have an increase of these co-curricular and coaching stipends at 2% per year. And we also are adding scope and requested positions and qualifying work items to each of the schedules. Teacher workday. Extending the teacher workday by 10 minutes to 7 hours and 30 minutes. This is in response to teachers' repeated calls for time to address their many professional responsibilities without compromising instructional time. This time represents a small but helpful increase in time to respond to emails, meet with students, or to address other professional responsibilities. School year. Reduce the number of teacher days from 192 to 191 in partial exchange for the longer workday. Medical and health-related insurance. We have an increase to healthcare contribution. These modest increases acknowledge the reality of where these benefit costs are. We've expanded from 2 to 5 coverage tiers so as to have employees better tailor their policy needs. We've adjusted vision care coverage and the process for achieving that coverage. Severance pay. Enhance the program by adding unused sick day compensation for those retiring with 15-plus years of service. Tuition reimbursement. Align the process and details to ensure it meets common standards of practice. Leaves. Update with FMLA language. Bereavement and personal illness. Expand the cases to include additional qualifying categories of family members. Reimbursement procedures. Harmonize to a standard window for multiple categories of reimbursement. It is our sincere belief that after one's careful evaluation of this offer in comparison to the prior contract and to other contracts in our region, the district's offer represents an attractive proposal that recognizes the value of our teachers and that truly meets the goals of these negotiations, that is fair, competitive, and equitable. Despite our inability to reach an agreement at this time, we plan to continue to reach out to the association to discuss future meetings and next steps. As we work through the remaining negotiations, we remain optimistic about reaching a resolution that serves the best interests of our teachers, our students, and our school community. Additionally, all district facilities remain open for use by student and community organizations. Thank you for your attention, and now I'm going to move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the approval of minutes for the June 24th regular board meeting. With that, may I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, Ms. Allen, please call the roll.
Ms. Bowman?
Aye.
Mr. Falegi?
Aye.
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Ms. Klotz?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Whitney?
Aye.
Dr. Levinson?
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Next item is the district update. Dr. Campbell. If you'd like to. All right, we're just going to wait a couple of minutes to let the room clear. All right, Dr. Campbell, district update.
I have a few updates for our July board meeting. I first wanted to recognize several East Penn alumni. You may have recently noted in the community that class of 2017 grad Meredith Shoulder was recently named to the U.S. Olympic field hockey team. Meredith, again, was a graduate of Emmaus High School, obviously a tremendous athlete here as part of our field hockey team, and so we wish her the best as she participates in the Summer Olympic Games, which will open on July 26th in Paris, France. Also, we're extremely proud of class of 2020 grad Brendan McCourt, who has qualified for the men's springboard diving finals for the 2024 Olympic team. Again, Brendan graduated from Emmaus in 2020 and was a real standout as part of the high school swim and dive team. And so he finished 10th in the nation finals to be able to qualify for the Olympic team. So huge shout out to some former East Penn grads, and let them know that we're watching and continuing to cheer them on from the sidelines. I've spoken at our last board meeting about the fact that we are implementing a change in terms of how families update communication or emergency contact information with the district. And so for the upcoming school year, for the 24-25 school year, we are going to be transitioning to an online, what we refer to as a returning student form for all students who are enrolled in the East Penn School District. And this online form replaces our traditional yellow emergency cards that may have been sent home in paper form to families, and or some buildings used an electronic Google form to collect the information. We're now using a consistent online form that will allow families of students in the district to maintain up-to-date emergency contact as well as some basic health information on students. And so on July 10th, your school will send a detailed instruction as well as detailed instructions and directions for completing the online form. So please watch for that later this week. And throughout the remainder of the summer, we're going to communicate about that important process. If you have any difficulty, the information will also clearly guide families as to who they can reach out to so that we can talk you through that process. This is also the time of year when we have families who have recently moved to the district who could be considering enrolling their students in the district. And so whether it's individuals in 1st through 12th grade and or perhaps individuals who are coming as new kindergartners coming to school for the very first time, if you've not already done so, we encourage families to please register students for the upcoming school year as quickly as possible. It's helpful for us at the secondary level so that we can have their schedules finalized. At the elementary level, we want to be sure that we have them placed in a classroom, and it helps us to monitor class sizes across the board. So we encourage families to join us by registering as soon as possible. And also later in the summer, all of our buildings plan orientations for new students, and so we want to be sure that we include students in those activities. I also encourage the community to continue to look at our East Penn website. On our human resources page, we have a variety of positions that we have available. Most of those positions are part-time positions that have very flexible hours, including support staff positions. We also have a continued need for crossing guards, particularly at Lincoln and Jefferson Elementary. And so I encourage anyone who might be interested in some part-time work and being able to start and end the day with kids, which is a great way to start and end your day, please consider applying for one of those positions. I'd also like to remind families that the district, in partnership with the Emmaus Rotary, is continuing to offer its supplemental feeding program, and that feeding program will run throughout the summer. We are able to provide non-perishable groceries for East Penn families in need, and distribution is held every Wednesday here at Emmaus High School, right out front of the administration building from 10:30 to noon, and at Lower Macungie Middle School, again, every Wednesday from 11:30 to 1. So that resource is available to any member of the East Penn community. Also, as a reminder, at the end of last week, our senior citizen community education classes opened for registration, and so I encourage our senior citizens to consider signing up for one of those classes. We have some new classes that we're offering for the upcoming year. We're excited about that. And one final announcement, the East Penn Education Foundation, which does amazing things to support students and teachers here in the school district, they are hosting their 4th annual Education Foundation golf outing. That's going to be held September 30th at Brookside Country Club. It is one of the foundation's primary fundraising events, and so we encourage any golfers out there in the East Penn or surrounding communities to consider joining us for what promises to be a great event. And that information is available on both the Education Foundation website as well as our district website. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Campbell. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Okay, thank you again. Next item on the agenda is personnel. Before I call for a motion, I'd like to mention one correction under item 8, temporary professional employee appointments for Lena Polliard. She is being hired under a year 1 master's designation. With that, I'd like to call for a motion to approve the personnel agenda.
So moved. Second.
Are there any comments or questions from the board? Okay, seeing none, Ms. Allen, please call the roll.
Mr. Falegi?
Aye.
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Ms. Klotz?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Whitney?
Aye.
Ms. Bowman?
Aye.
Dr. Levinson?
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Dr. Campbell, do you have any?
Yes, I just wanted to briefly recognize we have 2 retirements that the board approved in the most recent personnel item, including the upcoming retirement of Mr. Tim Gallagher, who is a member of our maintenance team. As part of, at the time of his retirement in August, he will have had 37 years of dedicated service. And so I oftentimes, when individuals come into our buildings from the community, we always get a lot of compliments in terms of the current condition of our buildings. And it really is because of people such as Tim and other members of our maintenance team who care so very much about our facilities here at the district and really do great work to maintain those great facilities. So we wish Tim the best in his retirement. And in addition, the board accepted the retirement of Serena Rowland, who's been an academic support assistant at Willow Lane Elementary, and she's been with us for 12 years. So congratulations to both of those dedicated employees.
Okay, thank you for that, Dr. Campbell. Next item on the agenda is business operations. If there are no objections, I'd like to get a motion to approve items A through C together.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any comments or questions from the board? I'd just like to make one comment in relation to item C. We have another donation from the EPSD Education Foundation in the amount of $33,132.10 in support of the Library 2.0 program at Jefferson Elementary School. So I'm, again, very grateful to the foundation for its generous support and its continued support for the district's systematic improvements to our elementary library spaces. If there are no further comments or questions, Ms. Allen, please call the roll.
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Ms. Klotz.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Dr. Whitney.
Aye.
Ms. Bowman.
Aye.
Mr. Falegi.
Aye.
Dr. Levinson.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you, Ms. Zhang. Next item on the agenda is curriculum, educational conferences. May I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Are there any comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, Ms. Allen, please call the roll.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Ms. Klotz.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Dr. Whitney.
Aye.
Ms. Bowman.
Aye.
Mr. Falegi.
Aye.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Dr. Levinson.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Next item, under other educational entities, I believe we have a report from Mr. Smith from LCTI.
Thank you, Dr. Levinson. The Joint Operating Committee of LCTI met on June 26th. I have a brief report for you tonight. During the monthly meeting, we received an update about the LCTI process management team as they look to the 24-25 school year and beyond. The team is comprised of district leaders, special education teachers, and counselors from across the 9 sending districts, and they met 3 times this spring and will continue to meet during the upcoming school year. Their primary focus is how to handle the wait list for their most popular programs, refine their vision for future programming, and refine the process for managing enrollment of popular programs. Part of the concern for the future is how to make the Career Academy program, or CAP for short, less resource intensive and to offer students more enticing credit recovery options. For example, with the recent retirement of a teacher in the horticulture program, it limits the path to credit recovery for students who were in that program and may find themselves in need of this type of program moving forward. In an effort to address some of the focus areas surrounding wait lists and enrollment needs, the JOC, approved a few new programs for next year. Animal Sciences, which was previously only open to 12th grade students, is now a program available for all grades 9 to 12, with an option for veterinary tech degree as well. Emergency Health Services is another, and the Protective Services program are 2 new programs that also fall in between the current popular health program offerings and the criminal justice program offerings. Finally, SAP data from the 23-24 school year was shared with us, which clearly showed a reduced number of SAP referrals, the first time we have seen a clear turnaround in this data since the conclusion of the pandemic. Hopefully this will be the start of a new trend in the positive direction as we look towards the 24-25 school year. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Smith. Are there any comments or questions from the board? And those of you who might be waiting for a July report from the JOC, we don't have a meeting this month, so you'll have to wait till the end of August. Okay. Thank you again. Moving on to announcements, we had an executive session tonight where we discussed matters of negotiations and personnel. Our next regular board meeting is on Monday, August 12th at 7:30 p.m. in this room. With no further business, I'd like to get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Enjoy your July and see you in August.